Some men walk into a room and without raising their voice, without flexing, without performing, every person in that room adjusts. People sit up straighter. Conversations get a little more intentional. The energy shifts in a way no one can explain, but everyone can feel. That is what respect looks like when it is real. Not demanded, not negotiated, not bought. Earned silently through how a man carries himself every single day. Today I am breaking down 7 habits of men who command respect without saying a word. These are not theories. These are the specific behaviors that separate the man people talk about when he leaves the room from the man nobody remembers was there. The first habit is posture that communicates before you speak. This is not about standing up straight because your mother told you to. This is about understanding that your physical presence is the first message you send to every person you encounter, and most men are sending the wrong one. Rounded shoulders, head tilted forward, eyes on the floor. That posture tells every person in the room that you are uncertain, that you would rather not be noticed, that you are carrying weight you cannot handle. Now look at the men who command respect. Their chest is open, not puffed out like they are trying to intimidate, but naturally expanded like they are breathing fully and unapologetically. Their shoulders are back and settled, not tense. Their chin is level, not tilted up in arrogance or down in submission. They move through space like they belong there, not like they are apologizing for taking up room. Research from the Kellogg School of Management found that body posture influences not just how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. Expansive posture increased feelings of power and willingness to take action, while contracted posture did the opposite. This means posture is not just a signal to others. It is a feedback loop with your own psychology. When you stand like a man who respects himself, you start to feel like one, and people respond to that feeling instinctively. Make this non-negotiable. Check your posture every time you walk through a doorway. Shoulders back, chin level, chest open. Do it until it becomes automatic. It costs you nothing and changes how every person you meet treats you before you say a single word. The second habit is keeping promises, especially the small ones nobody else would remember. Any man can make a grand gesture. It takes a different kind of man to remember the small commitments and honor them consistently. You told someone you would send them that article. Did you? You said you would be there at 8. Were you at 7:55? You promised yourself you would wake up at 5:30. Did you? Every broken promise is a microfracture in your integrity, and people keep a running tally whether they realize it or not. The men who command the deepest respect are relentlessly consistent with their word. They do not make promises lightly because they know a promise is a debt. And when they commit, the people around them never question whether it will happen because it always does. Here's the part most men miss. This includes promises to yourself. The way you treat commitments to yourself sets the standard for how you treat commitments to everyone else. If you tell yourself you will go to the gym and you skip it, you have just learned that your word does not mean anything. Do that enough times, and your subconscious absorbs the lesson. You become a man who does not trust his own word, and that lack of self-trust radiates outward in ways you cannot hide. Start small. Make fewer promises, but keep every single one of them. Under-promise and over-deliver. Show up early. Follow through without being reminded. Within months, you will notice that people start treating your word like a guarantee, and that is the foundation of genuine respect. The third habit is controlled emotions, and let me be extremely clear about what this means. This is not suppressing what you feel. This is not pretending you are above anger or frustration or pain. That is not strength. That is performance, and it eventually cracks in the worst possible moments. Emotional control means you feel everything fully, but you choose your response rather than being hijacked by your reaction. When someone cuts you off in traffic, disrespects you publicly, or pushes your buttons deliberately, your body reacts the same as anyone else. Your heart rate spikes, adrenaline floods your system, and your primitive brain screams for an immediate response. The difference is the space between stimulus and response. A man who commands respect has trained himself to widen that space. He feels the spike and then he pauses. He breathes. He assesses. And then he responds with a calm that communicates more authority than any outburst ever could. This is not theory. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this 2,000 years ago. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Navy SEAL training is built on this principle. When everyone around you is panicking, the man who stays calm becomes the leader by default. People do not follow the loudest voice in a crisis. They follow the steadiest one. Practice this in low-stakes moments. The next time someone irritates you in a small way, pause for 3 seconds before responding. That 3-second gap is where respect is built. The fourth habit is the ability to say no without guilt and without explanation. Most men say yes to everything because they are terrified of being disliked. They take on projects they cannot handle. They attend events they do not want to be at. They agree to favors that drain their time and energy. And over time, they become resentful, overextended, and invisible because when you say yes to everything, nothing you do carries weight. A man who commands respect treats his time and energy as non-renewable resources. When he says no, there is no paragraph of justification. There is no elaborate excuse designed to soften the rejection. He simply says no, or that does not work for me, and he moves on. Here is why this earns respect rather than resentment. When a man who says no to most things says yes to you, that yes means something. It carries weight because you know it was a deliberate choice, not a reflex. People trust a selective man more than an agreeable one because selectivity implies standards, and standards imply value. The men who get walked over are the men who cannot say no. They think being accommodating makes people like them, but it actually makes people use them. Saying no is not about being difficult or cold. It is about aligning your commitments with your priorities and having the courage to protect that alignment even when it is uncomfortable. Start saying no to one thing this week that you would normally agree to out of obligation. Notice how it feels. Notice how people respond. You will be surprised at how much more seriously they take you. The fifth habit is dressing with intention, not vanity. This is not about wearing expensive clothes or following every trend. This is about understanding that how you present yourself visually is a form of communication, and most men are sending a message of carelessness. The man who shows up in wrinkled clothes, stained sneakers, and an outfit he clearly grabbed without thinking is telling the world that he does not pay attention to details, that he does not think the occasion is worth the effort, and that he does not take himself seriously enough to present himself well. Compare that to the man who shows up in clean, well-fitted clothes that match the context of the situation. Not overdressed, not flashy, just intentional. His shoes are clean. His clothes fit his body. Everything looks like it was chosen on purpose. That intentionality communicates discipline, self-awareness, and respect for himself and the people he is with. The details matter more than the price tag. A $20 shirt that fits your body perfectly communicates more respect than a $200 shirt that does not. Clean shoes, ironed clothes, and colors that complement each other signal that you are a man who pays attention to the small things, and people extrapolate from that. If he cares about these details, he probably cares about the details in everything else too. This is not about impressing anyone. It is about congruence. A man who is building a disciplined, intentional life should look like it. When your appearance matches your internal standards, you create a coherent message that people trust instinctively. The sixth habit is fiercely protecting your time, and this is one of the clearest markers of a man who respects himself. How you spend your time reveals what you actually value, regardless of what you say you value. A man who says he values his goals but spends 4 hours a night scrolling through his phone is lying to himself. A man who says he values his relationships but never makes time for the people who matter is showing his real priorities. Men who command respect audit their time ruthlessly. They know where every hour goes, and they eliminate anything that does not serve their growth, their responsibilities, or their well-being. This means they do not engage in pointless arguments. They do not attend meetings that could have been an email. They do not spend hours in conversations with people who only want to complain. And they absolutely do not let other people dictate how their day is structured. This also means they are fully present when they give their time. When they are with their family, they are not on their phone. When they are working, they are not half distracted by social media. When they are in a conversation, they are not looking over the other person's shoulder for someone more important. The quality of the time you give is as important as the quantity you protect. People notice when a man guards his time because it communicates that his life has direction and that his attention is earned, not given by default. That scarcity makes every interaction with him feel more valuable. Protect your time like your future depends on it, because it does. The seventh habit is leading by example and silence. The man who commands respect does not lecture people about how to live. He does not post motivational quotes while his own life is in shambles. He does not tell others to work hard while cutting corners himself. He simply lives at the standard he believes in and lets the results speak for themselves. If he expects discipline, he is the most disciplined person in the room. If he expects honesty, he is honest even when it costs him. If he expects loyalty, he is the first one standing when his people need him. This is the habit that creates real followers. Not people who comply because they have to, but people who are inspired because they see what is possible. Leading by example also means being the first to admit mistakes. A man who cannot say I was wrong or I do not know is not leading. He is performing. Real leadership through example includes vulnerability, humility, and the willingness to hold yourself accountable publicly. When people see a man who walks his talk, who holds himself to a higher standard than he holds anyone else, and who does it quietly without seeking applause, they give him something that cannot be bought or demanded. They give him their genuine respect. These 7 habits are not things you adopt overnight. They are a daily practice, a standard that you recommit to every morning when your feet hit the floor. The man who commands respect without saying a word did not get there by accident. He got there by choosing these habits when they were inconvenient, when no one was watching, and when it would have been easier to let them slide. If this video hit different for you, subscribe to this channel because we go deep on what it actually takes to become a man worth following. Drop a comment telling me which habit you are going to focus on this week. I will see you in the next one.